You're leaving 1969, and you're traveling through time. Your next stop will be the future.
Live from the 60s.
Hey, this is Nick Cannon. They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed. And a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times two, twice the money. So forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today.
No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Here's a message just for the attorneys out there. So you passed the bar, joined a firm, or even built your own. Now are you finding out that you're doing more administration than actual law practice? Lexicon can help. Lexicon is a legal technology provider with over a decade of experience streamlining administrative tasks like timekeeping, billing, and more, so you can focus on maximizing billable hours and increasing client satisfaction. Call 855-4-LEXICON or visit lexiconservices.com/go to learn more.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Just happy to be here.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Shop limited time deals at the Truckload event at Lowe's, happening now. Save big on your favorites across the store. During this event, get up to 50% off select tools and accessories. Plus, find the perfect floor tile for your home for less. Get up to 50% off select styles while you can. Head to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowe's.com to shop the Truckload event today. Valid 12/29 through 1/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Discount taken at time of purchase.
The weather is brought to you by Crazy Lady Cabins and Pizza, 250 4 Mile Road in Rush. Check them out online at crazyladycabins.com. That's crazy with a K. And like them on Facebook.
Cool Hits weather.
Look for partly cloudy skies today, a high of 44, partly to mostly cloudy tonight and cold, low of 28. Look for freezing rain on Sunday morning, changing to rain in the afternoon. Precipitation will be light, high of 41. And Sunday night, a few showers early, changing to snow showers late, low of 32.
Cool Hits 105.7.
Well, it's time for me to fade back into history.
Live from the 60s.
I'm the real Don Steele, and remember, the love you take is equal to the love you make. I'll be back next week, same time, same station, and most of all, same decade.
Live from the 60s.
This program was created and produced by M.G. Kelly. Executive producer, Sean Steele. Associate producer, Michael Schoenfeld. Co-producer, Krista Anderson. Live from the 60s with the real Don Steele is an M.G. Kelly production. All rights reserved.
The Cool Hits 105.7 studios are sponsored by Southern Ohio Medical Center. Cancer can be very scary, and cancer care can be complicated, but the SOMC Cancer Center takes you from what appears to be a maze to amazing care. SOMC, very good things are happening here.
Cool Hits 105.7 WLGC FM. Rena, Ashland.
Portions of this program may have been pre-recorded.
Cool Hits 105.7 and the Cool Hits Sports Network now presents Let's Talk Sports. Get ready as we talk with players and coaches. Take a look at the top stories in sports and take a look at all the scores from the night before. It's Let's Talk Sports, brought to you by Kentucky Farmers Bank, Clark's Pup and Shops of the Tri-State, Stoltz Pharmacy, River Cities Builders, and Wagner Rental and Supply. Now, let's talk sports with your host, James Collier.
And welcome into Let's Talk Sports here on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Collier, happy to have you along with us this morning. Big night of basketball around the area, both on boys and girls. The scoreboard ticker across the bottom of your screen for those of you tuning in with us over on Cool TV. But some big games last night. A big one up in Vanceburg last night in 63rd District. Greenup County comes from down 19, and they knock off Lewis County on their home court 58-53. Eli Atkins with 2 big dunks in that basketball game. Carson Wireman goes off for 23 to lead all scorers. It was a heck of an atmosphere. And to put it in perspective, that's the side of the 63rd District Tournament this year. So you got a little bit. There was a great crowd on hand, both sides. The band was rocking it out as always up there. And before I go, I got to give a credit to the Lewis County Band. So Jack Likens, who's the principal at Lewis County High School, he and I are good friends, both of us Carolina fans. So as soon as I get in the building last night, he says, "Come with me." And we took a walk over into the high school, and we walk into the band room. And there's the band director, and the kids are all warming up and stuff, and he said, "I got a surprise for you." And he puts them in there, and they start playing the Carolina theme song. And it was awesome. The best part of it was the band director, who is leading all of this stuff, is leading the Carolina fight song wearing a UK sweatshirt. And I said, that's the best part of it at all. The kids got a big laugh out of it. He kicked me out of his room, by the way. But, we've been giving some love to the band up there, and they do a phenomenal job. Anytime you see us covering stuff up in Lewis County, you're going to see some stuff for the band because those kids, they rock the house. But a big thanks to those guys. That was a special treat last night getting that. They played it a couple times throughout the game, so we carried it live a couple times. It was a lot of fun. But that was a great atmosphere. That is what is coming to be expected here in this last month of the regular season. You've got teams finishing up their last 8 to 12 games, and a lot of those are going to be district tilts. And we're still trying to shuffle things around to see where the districts are going to fly. You've probably got about another 2 weeks before that's going to be cemented down. You've got some teams that certainly pushed themselves to the forefront, and other teams that still trying to shuffle to stay out of that 4 seed. And I'm really not going to do anything with the standings and the rankings just yet. There's still too much basketball left to go to see where we fall for that. Maybe, I don't know, I may sprinkle some in there next week. We'll see. But either way, in the house this morning, I've got Greenup County girls basketball, head coach Paul Miller and Rachel Bush. Could have had a third one over there. I'll let Coach Flight on that one. Sorry, Emily. That's okay, Coach. It was late, so it was. I got late. I was late coming from Vanceburg, and of course, if you're coming from Vanceburg, you have zero cell service whatsoever. So I had to wait till I got back in. I texted Coach. I said, "Coach, sorry for the late text, but," and there was some wording in there that was overread, and it's okay. But the thing of it is that Rachel's a good talker. Well, at first she used to not be because she was scared to death to talk, and then I got her in class and I couldn't get her to stop talking. So we'll talk all about some Greenup County basketball. They had a good win last night over Raceland down at the Greenhouse. A great atmosphere down there as well. Football realignment in the state coming up for the 23 and 24 seasons. That's going to be interesting. There's some reshuffling that took place that it makes things look a lot different coming up for several teams this year. We'll look at that with the way the reclassification happens, which teams move, and how that sets up for stuff for the next 2 years. They will revisit this after 2 years. Julian Tackett said he feels like that the numbers are still convoluted because of COVID. So they're going to revisit this in a couple years and see if they need to do any shuffling to it from there. So we'll see how that plays out. But the realignment will start in the upcoming football season this fall for 2023. NFL divisional round this weekend for the chance to play in the conference championship games next weekend. College basketball on tap. We'll take a look at the top 25. And, of course, the Border Sporting Goods rant of the week. Could it be that I actually say something good about Walmart? Well, maybe just a little bit. But, of course, I've got some beef with them as well. Let's take a break. When we return, we've got Rachel Bush and Coach Paul Miller from Greenup County Girls Basketball in studio. We'll talk with them as we continue here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. The new year is here, and Clark's Pump and Shops get it started off with great in-store specials for you. Assorted Hershey king-size candy bars, 2 for $5. Jack Link's beef and cheese meat snacks, 2 for $3. Blue Diamond almonds, 1.5 ounce size, 2 for $2. Snapple and Snapple Elements, 16-ounce bottles, 2 for $2. Plus quality Argo gasoline. Stop by a Clark's Pump and Shop near you. Clark's Pump and Shops return. Refresh, refuel.
The greatest songs of all time. You've got Cool Kids 105.7.
Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carr, happy to have you along with us this morning. Joining me in studio from Greenup Girls Basketball, Coach Paul Miller and Rachel Bush. Coach, Rachel, good morning. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Good. How are you?
Rachel's so excited.
I could always tell. She always just has so much energy. She can't. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff with Rachel in just a little bit, because we had a great conversation in the break. I just learned something I didn't know about Rachel. I had her in class for 2 years, and if I'd known this, she'd never made it through the 10th grade. Heck of a win last night, Coach. Anytime you get a district win, no matter who it is, it's big, especially in the 63rd, but it's always a tough district because it's no secret. Everybody's playing, trying to stay out of that 4th seed to stay away from Russell. And last night, a tough game, but a nice environment down at the Greenhouse with Raceland.
It was one of those games, I told the kids, it's not easy to play your rival. And I didn't really realize, I talked to Rachel a little bit after the game and Emily, and I said, hey, I'm used to that Boyd County-Ashland rival, but I didn't realize when I first got to Greenup, the Raceland-Greenup, rival that they have, and it's pretty intense. So when you go in there and play, anytime you play Raceland, it's not going to be an easy battle. And we played a little tight, but I thought we actually played better, that second half and settled in a little bit.
What you talk about the rivalry, and again, your connection back to Ashland with your daughter and stuff, and you talk Ashland Boyd County. Now you're getting in the coaching side of things, and you're seeing those other sides of the rivalry. Now the Greenups, Racelands, Lewis, Russells.
Yeah.
What are you taking from that side of things on the coaching side of it?
It's just as intense as it is over there. I mean, they grow up together. All these kids know each other just like Boyd and Ashland, and it's just one of those things that like I said, when they know each other, they want to win, both of those teams. So it's not something that you're going to experience that's going to be easy anytime you play them.
The atmosphere, you talked about that. We were talking about that a little bit. You had the cheerleaders were in the building. The band was there, a good crowd. Both teams travel well, obviously. When you anytime you put Greenup and Raceland together, you're going to have a good crowd. What was the atmosphere last night?
It was great. We had the cheerleaders there. We had the band there. So Greenup's starting to get more and more involved, and, our superintendent, Tracy, she's done a great job of helping us. I don't know if you've been in there yet, but we've got a Jumbotron now, the biggest in the area. And, I mean, just the atmosphere that we're trying to create at Greenup is really changing, and we're proud of it.
Rachel, for you last night, having the atmosphere of the rivalry, Greenup and Raceland, the student sections, they always get rowdy and everything gets going. What was the atmosphere like last night?
It was crazy. You could hardly even hear yourself thinking out there. And trying to listen to Coach as he was calling out plays, it was tough, but it was really fun.
A lot of emotion flying through this game, and there's some pieces that fly around in the back sides of this one. But once you get onto the court, do you kind of hear a lot of the chatter that's always happening go away, and you just kind of settle in and go play your game?
Yeah. It all just goes away, and you're just kind of like in your own head, just playing.
Coach, you talked about you feel like you played a little tight early on. What was it that got you settled in?
I told the kids, all week long, we had a chance to practice this week, which is rare. And I thought the kids were pretty hyped up. And I told them, I said, this game is going to be about composure. Who can keep a cool head and play? Because when you go out there all jacked up, you start seeing shots go too heavy on the backside. And, you saw a lot of kids fouling early and things like that. But I think, they settled in. But at first, you could tell it was difficult.
Rachel, when you get into a game like that to where you could tell the emotions are kind of controlling the way the game's playing at the beginning of it, what do you have to do to settle yourself and, more importantly, settle your team in so that you guys can get back and play the style that you want to play?
You just got to calm yourself down and keep yourself composed. You're going to have to play good on the defensive side first, and then the offense will come.
For you, missing a couple games earlier in the month here and then getting back for this one, how big was that for you?
It was huge. I know we had to go out and win. We hadn't won a game yet in district, so I knew we really needed this one.
Coach, how big was that, a big district win? Brad Taylor said, by the way, congratulations on a big district win. But, again, any rivalry game that you get, it's a great one. But when it's a district win, it's a little more special.
Going back to what we were talking about, Ashland and Boyd, to me, this district is the hardest. Hands down. You got teams that, especially us three, that are trying to get to that spot, out of that 4-hole. All of us can win on any given night. So any chance you get to win this district, especially your first one, we'll take it, and we'll absolutely take it.
What do you like about what you see from your team right now of what they've been able to do and the growth that you've seen? Obviously, you build your foundation around Rachel and Emily, but you've really started to see some pieces start to come together as well.
Yeah, I think what you just said. Rachel, when she went down, it was unfortunate, but we looked at it as a positive because we had to make others understand. I always tell them, I got to have other people come to the party. If we're going to win this thing, it's not going to be with just Rachel and Emily. We're 10-0 now if we get 3 people scoring double figures. So we talk about that all the time. We have to get other people that feel more comfortable. And when she went out, it helped us a little bit.
I know you and I, we talked when you guys played at Russell, and you said that you knew what you were going to get from Rachel. You knew what you were going for Emily. This was the night that you felt like some of your younger kids had to kind of step to the table and take a next step onto the big scene. Have you started to see that now?
Yeah, Spencer, in particular, she's handled the ball for us all year at point guard, and that's not an easy thing to do anyway. She's a freshman, and she's starting to drive with more confidence, shoot the ball with more confidence, and then, you got Schaefer as a junior last night. I think she had 14 last night, I think, and she was the 3rd leading scorer. So Schaefer's doing a really good job of looking for a shot more. Then you got Dar, another freshman that's trying to find her way, and Dar's become more of our kid that likes to do the dirty stuff, and I really enjoy that. She came to me the other day and she said, I really like the rebound. I want that power. So I really appreciate what Dar's doing for us, and and like I said, we're starting to find our stride.
Rachel, for you, having the comfort zone of having Emily on the floor, you guys have played so much basketball together. You kind of know what the other's thinking before it even happens. How much does that give you that comfort zone of having her out there when you're trying to get the other 3 to kind of settle in and figure out what their roles really are?
Well, it really helps our chemistry. Your 2 best players on the team are best friends. It just shows that our younger girls that they know they can come to us whenever they need anything. And our chemistry, honestly, is probably the best out of any girls basketball team around. We're all best friends.
What's for you? You've played a lot of different positions in your time at Greenham. You've gone from I don't know. You may have played a point guard at some point in time.
Hey, I'll take it.
Coach will take anything. But for you, having to be able to be so versatile on the floor, how much difficult has that made you for your game?
It's really hard for somebody to guard me because you put a smaller person on me, I'll just post up. But then you put a bigger person, I can go out on the wing and shoot it.
I know for you, that's one of the things you really worked on, establishing that mid-range jump shot, that 12 to 15 foot. How much does that, especially with your long length and athleticism to be able to get to the rim, being able to stretch people out and taking them off the bounce, how much does that open up your game?
A lot. I would rather shoot the mid-range before I would rather do anything, and I honestly love the mid-range. But it stretched my game out a lot because, I can take somebody off the dribble, pull up, take them to the basket, or shoot the 3.
Coach, when you look at kids that they want to get to the next level, and I know that's where Rachel's plans is to get to the next level of play, seeing kids being able to develop that mid-range jump shot, how much more does that help them in those ventures of when they get into the college ranks of being able to contribute early on?
Yeah, I mean, in Rachel's case, when I first came to Greenup, I could tell, the talent she had. What we tried to do is make her more well-rounded. And I think kids nowadays, everybody wants to send out and shoot a three. Nobody wants to try to get in and shoot that mid-range, and they work on their drive. So, we wanted to make sure that she understands the complete game, and she's did a great job. She loves mid-range more than anything. I'm trying to push her out more because I think she has that kind of ability.
No,
yeah.
No.
And at the next level, I tell her she's going to have to shoot the ball. They're going to make her a stretch four. I don't know where she's going to go yet, but I think for sure they're going to make her a stretch four where she's going to be able to sit out there and shoot the ball some too.
Looking at your schedule, we've got roughly right at about 3 weeks left to go in the regular season before district tournament gets going. You only have 8 games left on that schedule. What do you like about how your schedule sets up there with a little bit of chance to get some great games in there with the teams that you got to play, but also having some rest opportunities as well?
Yeah, it didn't, we looked at the schedule last night, We've got some tough games down the stretch, but all year long we've played top teams. The losses that we have, I look back at some of those, and they're all winning records, and which is good, but moving forward, we still have Portsmouth West that's only lost 1 game. We have to go over there. We still have Menifee County coming to us, Bath County. These are teams that are good teams that will help us. So in Lawrence County, we got Lawrence County down at Lawrence County to end the season. So we're going to be tested, but that's what we want. This year's different. We want to be tested versus, we're not trying to dodge anybody. We feel like at the end that's going to pan out for us.
Rachel, you look at that schedule with the way things line up. You've got Lewis County at Lewis County, Raceland at Raceland. Then you bring in Menifee County and close with Lawrence County. All of those teams are teams that are going to push you, have opportunities of making runs in postseason play. And like Coach said, this is the year you want to be pushed. What do you like about what you see for the way that schedule lines up in those last 4?
It's setting us up for a good postseason because we're playing good teams. We're not just playing teams that are cupcakes, so we're really going to have to play each and every night in order to get the win.
Having an opportunity to play Lewis County in Vanceburg before the district tournament, how big is that going to be to set you up for what appears the way things are going to shake out right now? It's going to be you and Lewis County in that 2-3 seed.
It's huge. Lewis County, anytime you go down there, it's a hard place to win. They got a great atmosphere. It's really good, though, because we're playing them. We're not going too long without playing them, so we're going to know what they have.
Coach, do you like having a district opponent that late on your schedule, especially one that more than likely you're going to run into in a couple weeks later in district tournament?
Yeah, I absolutely do. So, Lewis came to us. We didn't have Rachel, and we played him down there at our place, and our kids did a good job. And Jay's got a fabulous team. We know what Jay's got out there, and we know that atmosphere is going to be extremely tough to win at. But to go out there and experience that in 1 week and turn around and maybe play in the next week or two, it'll give us a chance to get our feet wet and kind of feel like, what we need to do to move on.
Looking at the way the district sizes up, and it's kind of been for the last several years, Russell and Lewis at the top and Raceland and Greenup kind of shuffling there in that 3-4 position. What were the goals coming into this year of trying to find a way to move Greenup into one of those top 2 spots?
Yeah, I think when the schedule was made, and like you said, our goal has always been, Rachel will tell you this, is we want to get to region. In order for our program to get to another level, we've done a pretty good job of taking them to a level where they feel like they can compete with anybody. But the next step is hey, I want to experience what it's like to be on a region floor. And that's not just for Rachel's, that's for the younger kids, to be able to see that Greenup deserves to be there. With work, you can get there. So it's imperative that we absolutely do everything we can to push it to get there.
Rachel, how big would it be for you as a senior to get on the floor at LST?
Huge. I played on it in 7th grade, but I didn't play that much. That's what we're going to get there.
Coach, when you look at the way your team is structured, a 10-8 record and 8 games still to go, what's some things that you feel like that your team still has the opportunities to develop through to get yourself into that postseason run?
We just need to continue to understand who we are. The consistency that I told somebody last night, you're in this season now in the 3rd phase of your season where it needs to be consistent. Every time you come in, I tell the kids, you have a choice when you walk on the line. Do you want to bring it? Do you want to have that energy? That should be a given now. But more important than that is we want to see consistency with chemistry. We want to be able to get out there, move the ball around a little bit, take good shots, understand what a good shot looks like at the time that you need to take that. And that's just something that we want to see moving forward.
Well, let's stop talking about basketball for just a little bit because I want to switch over to football because you gave me some interesting information there in the break. So I understand you being a big Bengals fan,
Yes.
and that's understandable. But something I never realized, Rachel was a Buffalo fan.
Can you believe
and
it?
that's what I said. If I'd known this when I was at Green, she'd never made it out of 10th grade. I mean, I'd failed her out of the building. Having that, those – you've got the relationship on the basketball court, but when you have stuff like that to where both of you can relate to something and you share that personal bond as well, how much more does that make the job that you get to do as a coach enjoyable?
Well, as Rachel said, we're close. I mean, we're extremely close. I've been a part of a lot of teams, AAUs, Ashlands, Lawrence counties, but I've never seen kids that are great kids inside and out, and we're extremely close. So we do share a bond. I mean, this kid means a lot to me.
Rachel, you're not going to jump through a table and stuff if they win this weekend, are you?
No.
You're not part of the Bills Mafia?
No.
Okay. I could, I told us we could set a table up here and we could do that live on the show. I mean, that would be great.
Cool,
that would be. All right, so here I got to have it. So, Coach, give me your prediction for the game this weekend.
I think it's a 5-point underdog that we are now, but I feel good. I think we're going to go up there and I think we're going to play a good game. So I'm going to say we're going to win by 3.
Rachel?
I think Josh Allen's going to put it all over the Bengals.
Ooh.
All over them?
Yeah.
You got a score?
Nope. I think
it's just going to be big.
Yep.
So now what's the bet here between? I mean, there's got to be some type of little inside bet, a little wager, something between.
If I win, she runs.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, it's usually how coach player works out. Now Rachel, on the backside of that, if you win, he runs.
Yeah.
Wow. So you know that's got to be fun.
Yes.
He's got to give you the whistle, and you get a chance to be the coach side for a little bit. I think that would be fun to watch.
It would be fun.
You got to let me know if this goes down because I want to come and video.
You'll be thinking about that this game.
Absolutely. I'm going to say I may be a Bills fan this weekend, Coach. I just want to see Rachel with a whistle just getting after you. What's the one thing, Rachel, for you, closing out your senior season, what's the one thing that you want more than anything?
For us to get to region. We've said that the past 5 years, but I want to get to region with this team.
Coach, what would that be for the program to get yourself to LST?
I just know the work that they put in. And, James, when I think about the years that we put in, the weightlifting, and I know everybody does that. There's a lot of teams out there that's killing themselves. But I understand what my kids have done, and I know that they deserve it. And I'm trying everything I can as a coach to get them there. So, that it means everything. It really does.
Well, Coach, we greatly appreciate the time. Rachel, thank you so much for coming in. Go Bills. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm a Patriots guy. I don't know if I can say that wholeheartedly. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But, guys, thank you so much. Best of luck the rest of the way on the regular season. We'll see you in the postseason.
Thanks for having us.
All right, let's take a break. When we return, we'll talk about the realignment for the KHSAA football. A lot of teams shuffling around. We'll set the table of who's where coming up and how the districts are going to look. That's as we continue here. Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Hello, I'm Michael Bowling, Senior Vice President of Kentucky Farmers Bank. When you do business with Kentucky Farmers Bank, you're making an investment in your community. Your money stays local, we never sell your loan, and in turn, we invest in local families, churches, schools, and charities. We believe in our community, and that's why we are the better bank for loans.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for loans since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
The new year is here, and Clark's Pump and Shops get it started off with great in-store specials for you. Assorted Hershey king-size candy bars, 2 for $5. Jack Link's beef and cheese meat snacks, 2 for $3. Blue Diamond almonds, 1.5-ounce size, 2 for $2. Snapple and Snapple Elements, 16-ounce bottles, 2 for $2. Plus quality Argo gasoline. Stop by a Clark's Pump and Shop near you. Clark's Pump and Shop's return. Refresh, refuel.
The weather is brought to you by Crazy Lady Cabins and Pizza, 250 4 Mile Road in Rush. Check them out online at crazyladycabins.com. That's crazy with a K. And like them on Facebook.
Cool Hits weather.
Look for partly cloudy skies today, a high of 44. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight and cold, low of 28. Look for freezing rain on Sunday morning, changing to rain in the afternoon. Precipitation will be light, high of 41. And Sunday night, a few showers early, changing to snow showers late, low of 32.
Cool Hits 105.7.
Back here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carr, happy to have you along with us here this morning. Big thanks to Paul Miller and Rachel Bush for joining me here on the show. Rachel's a great kid. You know, I had her in school for a couple of years. She was a member of my media crew when I was down there at Greenup, and it's funny to watch how much that she has really grown, not only as a basketball player but as a person. A great kid, always fun to have in class and to be around. And it's great to see her have success. She's put in the work for it. She's done all of the things, the intangibles, to be able to get to where she is. And her and Emily Maynard, two great seniors that, again, I pull for those kids because I've built that personal bond with them. So Coach Paul Miller doing a fabulous job with the team down there, and certainly wish them the best down the stretch. Well, KHSAA got together this past week, and they looked at the realignment for football. And there was some big changes that happened, especially to teams within the local area. Now, the way that this was set up, Coach Julian Tackett said he believes that the numbers are still convoluted because of COVID and that they will revisit this in 2 years, not 3 to 4 like it typically goes. So the 23 season will begin the new realignments, and districts are going to look a lot different across the board. For a lot of local teams here, mostly dipping around Class Single A, Class 3A, and Class 4A now. That's where you're going to see your big shakeup. So let's dive into the way this looks now, and we'll start with Class Single A. So prior to the realignment, it was Raceland, Paintsville, Fairview, and Betsy Lane. Well, Betsy Lane has to shift up to Class 2A, so they are gone now, and they have really shuffled the bottom half of the districts in Class Single A. Paintsville, gone. They are now down in District 8 with Hazard and Pikeville in a three-team district. In District 6, which is Raceland, it's going to feel like a 90s vibe. I know Coach Mike Sammons talked with Matt Sparks at the paper where they were talking about this, and he said, this is bringing back some old rivalries. But it'll be Fairview that'll stay put, Nicholas County and Paris joining Raceland now in District 6. Their sister district, which is District 5, will be Berea, Eminence, Frankfort, and Sayre. Now, on the other side of this, District 8, as we said, Hazard, Pikeville, and Paintsville, their sister district will be District 7, which is a 5-team district of Harlan, Lynn Camp, Middlesboro, Pineville, and Williamsburg. And there's a lot of confusion there because of Harlan. Originally in the proposal was down in District 8, so they had 2 4-team districts. Now that's not the case. So, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out on the scheduling side of things, because I think one of the interesting side is that now Raceland and Paintsville no longer are in districts, and they played each other pretty much twice every year for about 10 years. Because of the way that the districts lined up. They would play their district matchup and then always ran into each other in the postseason. Well, now that's not going to be the case. So I know Mike Sammons said that he would really like to keep that game on the schedule, and I see a place that it fits perfectly, because when you look at the way things shift out, Paintsville and Pikeville typically played each other in the regular season early in the year. Now they're district foes. So you can almost flip that date, move Paintsville to the beginning of the season, and Raceland and Paintsville play something like week 2, week 3. So I certainly expect that to stay on the schedule moving forward, because that one is a rivalry game. And it's something, again, you get the district reshuffling. You certainly don't want to lose those types of matchups. But it makes it a little bit easier now to be able to find places to put games like that when you have your 3 district games that you'll play there toward the end of the year, and you got to find those other games to sandwich in at the beginning of the season. Nicholas County, I've only been there one time, but great people up there. They really take care of you. Paris, I've had my run-ins with Paris. It was the Raceland playoff game down there. It was an interesting night, to say the least. The funny thing with Paris, though, my son is the district public relations person for Paris schools. So it's going to be fun now to bring Raceland and Paris back together in the football side of things, to have that connection. So, Raceland did play Paris this year in the playoffs, and, having my son, who was a Raceland alum, on the Paris sideline, it was funny. They put a sign up outside of his office, and he put on it, he said, "I think the orange team's going to win." And he had pictures from his days back in Raceland on one side, and he had pictures from his Paris stuff on the other side. By the way, Paris happens to be orange and black as well. So it was a good fit for him while he was down there. So that really looks interesting of how things are going to look. On the other side, the kind of the northern and the western part of the districts in Class Single A, in District 1, Ballard Memorial, Caverna, Fulton County, and Russellville. In District 2, it's Bethlehem, Campbellsville, Kentucky Country Day, and Louisville Holy Cross. District 3, Bellevue, Dayton, Newport Central Catholic. And then District 4, Bishop Brossart, Covington Holy Cross, Ludlow, and Trimble County. Now, over to Class 3A. 2A really doesn't have a whole lot of local flavor in it now because of West Carter now being bumped up to 3A. So there is, scanning over the list here, there are no local teams that is in Class 2A now for this area. The closest team that's in there would be Betsy Lane, who is in the bottom half of the Class 2A. Now, Class 3A looks a whole lot different. In District 6, this is a 6-team district now. Bath County, East and West Carter, Fleming County, Lewis, and Russell. Now, you got 6 teams vying for 4 playoff spots. That one's going to be an interesting district. Obviously, East Carter has had some success in football over the last couple of seasons. West Carter had a kind of a rebuilding year, if you will, but had really shared some success in some seasons prior. Russell, again, not a season that's characteristic of a Russell team this past year. Now they get away from the Ashlands, the bigger schools that they've been around, into a district that they feel like maybe they can compete in. Fleming County's always been fairly solid, a competitive group. And Bath County and Lewis County had a great season that turned things around. This is going to be an extremely competitive district this coming year. And I think that's going to be one of the more intriguing districts to watch, without a doubt, to see things moving forward in that one. In the bottom half of Class 3A, Lawrence County stays put. Belfry, Estill County, Lawrence, Magoffin, Morgan, and Powell. So another 6-team district. Class 3A is jam-packed full. The sister district for the District 6 will be Bourbon, Lexington Catholic, Lloyd Memorial, and Pendleton County. And looking up there and seeing the words LCA, that cannot make anybody feel comfortable by any stretch of the imagination. Now, up to Class 4A, as a couple of teams getting bumped back up after coming down to 3A. And in District 6, you now have Ashland, Boyd County, Greenup, Johnson Central, and Rowan. So Boyd and Ashland now become district foes again. Even though they play, that rivalry game, now it's just going to fall somewhere else on the schedule. Ashland and Johnson Central coming back in as district foes. Greenup rejoining that. They were district foes with Johnson Central in their time in 4A. And then you add Rowan County there. So you're looking at Ashland and Johnson Central, obviously, as your perennial favorites there in District 6, and a mixture of Greenup, Boyd, and Rowan to try to mix things up with one of the teams of the 3 being the odd duck out. Greenup has things trending in the right direction after this season. Travis Jones in his first year, he's going to be tested with a very tough slate with 4 district games with Ashland, Boyd, Johnson Central, and Rowan County. Chad Tackett what does his team have after they returned a significant group of a team that made a deep playoff run after pretty much replacing everybody on both sides of the football, especially on the offensive side of things. So I really think that District 6 is going to be an intriguing matchup to watch, especially because of the local flavor. They've got a tough sister district, District 5, that's Covington Catholic, Grant County, Harrison, Holmes, and Mason. And, of course, we know about Mason and the run that they made this year. So that's going to be some fun football to watch there in Class 4A to see how things play out on that one. 5A and 6A, again, there were some shuffling around, but, again, no schools in the local area that fall into that category. So, you look at it and you see the redistricting, and a lot of it makes sense, the way that the teams put together the district composure because of traveling and so forth and nature and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how you see some of these old rivalries, these older games that maybe date all the way back into the 80s and 90s, and now they're being revisited as new district opponents. I think it's going to bring a new flavor to some of the games that we're going to see coming up in the 23 and 24 seasons. All right, let's take a break. When we return, college basketball top 25, the NFL divisional round. We'll talk about it when we return after this here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. The new year is here, and Clark's Pump and Shops get it started off with great in-store specials for you. Assorted Hershey king-size candy bars, 2 for $5. Jack Link's beef and cheese meat snacks, 2 for $3. Blue Diamond almonds, 1.5 ounce size, 2 for $2. Snapple and Snapple Elements, 16-ounce bottles, 2 for $2. Plus quality Argo gasoline. Stop by a Clark's Pump and Shop near you. Clark's Pump and Shops return. Refresh, refuel.
The Tri-States Cool Hits. 105.7.
Back here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carr, happy to have you along with us here this morning. Let's take a look at college basketball top 25 action coming up today. We'll start first with the noon slate of games. Georgetown is at number 8, Xavier. Number 17 travels to Cameron Indoor to face off against the unranked Duke Blue Devils. Duke 9-0 at home. They're 13-5 on the season, but how crazy is it to hear Duke unranked in the top 25? That's insane. Number 18, College of Charleston, 20-1. They go to Boston and play Northeastern today in a matchup to where, College of Charleston, 18th in the nation. Dickie Vitale is giving them some love this week, so they're drawing the attention. How far up in the rankings can they get? And again, can they continue this push? And where would they fall? How crazy would it be to see like College of Charleston like a 3 seed in the round of 68? By the way, have you heard they talking about pushing out to like 90 teams? That's insane. You don't need 90 teams. For the love of God, it's already long enough as it is. You've got a play-in game for a play-in game. You don't even know who you're going to play in your first round because you got to play a game to a play-in game. It's like stop it, okay? We don't need 90 teams, all right? 68's too many. 64 was fine, and that was probably pushing it a little bit. I like the field like it is. Stop trying to bring everybody in and just watering it down. You take a great product and you water it down, you turn it into garbage. And, again, if you want to bring in, you've got 68 teams right now. If you want to add 22 teams with it, make it an even 31 and have it the Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors for the, everybody gets ice cream and trophy, okay? You can play your game and then everybody goes out to Baskin-Robbins and has ice cream and you get a little participation trophy. We don't need another 22 teams added to the field. It's bad enough as it is. When you're playing these play-in games with these teams when you have teams that get into the field with losing records, you're too far in, okay? I've said this with football in the bowl games. We had a 5-7 team play a 6-6 team. That's when you're stretching too far. You don't need to be in the postseason when you have a losing record. Not happening. Either way, I got to digress. Let's get back to the scores. Number 14, TCU travels to number 2, Kansas. Kansas took a big upset to Kansas State for their first Big 12 loss of the season. Can the Jayhawks take care of things today out at Allen Fieldhouse at 1? At 2 p.m., a good one in Pac-12 action. Number 5, UCLA. Number 11, Arizona. This one should be a dandy. UCLA 5-0 on the road. Arizona 10-1 at home. That one should be a good one to watch. That right there is what you would almost expect like an Elite 8 game or a Final Four game, if you will. That one should be a dandy basketball game, to say the least. Number 10, Virginia's at Wake Forest today at 2. Number 12, Iowa State's at Oklahoma State. Texas Tech goes to number 13, Kansas State. And DePaul is at number 22, Providence. Today at 3:30, it's number 16, Auburn at South Carolina. Number 9, Tennessee goes to LSU at 4. Number 20, Marquette travels to Seton Hall. Number 21, Baylor is at Oklahoma. Tonight at 6, number 4, Alabama is at Missouri. Number 7, Texas goes to Morgan Hole and plays West Virginia. Virginia Tech's at number 19, Clemson. Tonight at 9, number 24, FAU is at UTEP in Conference USA basketball. And number 6, Gonzaga is playing Pacific on the road tonight at 10 out in Stockton, California. It's crazy to talk about when you're talking about top 25 teams, and you're not talking about Duke, you're not talking about Kentucky, you're not talking about North Carolina. There's some different teams that's out there that's just simply not in the mix anymore. And I think it really shows how much the parity across college basketball has taken over. You have some teams that's still up there on the fronts and so forth and this and that. But your blue-collar teams that, your blue-chip teams, I should say, your Kentuckys, your Dukes, your North Carolinas, that's not there. That's really weird not hearing those names in the top 25. Speaking of Kentucky, they've got Texas A&M down in Lexington today. 2 o'clock tip-off. We go on the air at 12:30 with countdown to tip-off. Jeez, oh, Pete. 90 minutes of pregame action. And then, of course, 3 segments with Coach Cal. I'm a man. I'm 40. Don't you blame these kids. Don't you dare do that. They're just 18-year-old kids. They don't know any better. Jeez, oh, Pete, stop it. Over to the gridiron, the NFL, and the divisional round of the playoffs. There's some intriguing games this weekend. We'll play an AFC, NFC game each day, today and tomorrow. We'll start first today at 4:30. This game on NBC and Peacock. It's number 4 Jacksonville and the top-rated Chiefs in Kansas City. Then tonight at 8:15 over on Fox, you've got number 6 New York Giants and the top-seeded Eagles. 9-7-1 are the Giants. The Eagles 14-3. And I don't know why, and I hate this because I absolutely hate the Giants with every stitch of my body. And being a Patriots fan, if you know anything about those connections, you understand why. That still was not a catch. It should have been a sack on that stupid helmet catch by David Tyree. But there's just something about that game that just kind of jumps out and says, this is an upset waiting to happen. Can the Giants get the mojo going? It seems like years that they do very well and they're successful in the postseason, they're usually a garbage team trying to limp into the postseason, and then all of a sudden they turn into this juggernaut that nobody can figure out. The Eagles are a solid football team. I take nothing away from the Eagles. I think they are the perennial favorite in the NFC, a close favorite over number 2 San Francisco. But there's just something about that game, the Giants and the Eagles, that just says take the upset here. I don't know. We'll see. Tomorrow's going to be a very intriguing matchup at 3 in CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo will have the call, of course. The Bengals at the Bills. And, of course, if you're on either side of this, you know how big of a matchup this is and all of the spin that this puts on things because of the game that happened a couple of weeks ago in Cincinnati when the game was stopped. And the issue that becomes in this game is that if the Bills win this game and the Chiefs win this game, the Chiefs don't get to play home or play host to the AFC Championship game. It's going to the neutral site in Atlanta. Now, if the Bengals win this game and the Chiefs win the game, then the Bengals head to Kansas City. But if it's the Chiefs and the Bills next week, it's playing in Atlanta in a neutral site game because the Chiefs at 14-3, the Bills at 13-3 because the Bills played one less game than the Chiefs. So they said, okay, we're going to make this a neutral site affair. Either way, tomorrow at 3, I think everybody's going to be glued to this one. This one should be a dandy football game to see. And rounding things out in the NFC tomorrow night at 6:30 on Fox. Number 5, Dallas. Number 2, San Francisco. This you talk about bringing back the feel of the 80s and the 90s. Cowboys 49ers. I mean, it doesn't get much more than that. You know, Troy Aikman, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith. I mean, just the names could just keep going on and on and on. You see the star in the 49er logo. That's all you need to see. You don't need to see records. You don't need to see rankings. You don't care where it's playing. It is playing in San Francisco. It's hard for me too. I say San Francisco. It's hard for me not to say Candlestick. You start seeing Cowboys and 49ers. I'm dating myself now, but playing at Candlestick Park. And the coolest thing I always remember when you see a game at Candlestick, especially during baseball season, was they still had baseball going on there, so you still had the dirt cutouts on the football field with grass everywhere. And then you would play baseball, and you'd still see the lines painted in the grass where the football team would have been playing. That was always an intriguing matchup. You're playing football on a baseball field, baseball on a football field. It was always crazy. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs, and I'm taking the upset with the Giants. I don't know why. I hate the Giants. But just something about me says pick the Giants. So if you're out there and you're a wager, you probably should run and put the family farm right now in Philadelphia. We all know how my picks work out. They never go anywhere. Bengals, Bills. I like the Bills at home. They're very tough. If this was in Cincinnati, I would take Joe Burrow and Cincinnati. I think this is going to be a very tight game. Sorry, Rachel. I know you said you picked the Bills and Josh Allen's going to go off. But the Bengals got 2 offensive linemen out. I think that makes things very difficult up front for them and for Joe Burrow to go downfield. If Cincinnati can run the football to open up the passing game, that favors them what they need to do, and especially getting Jamar Chase involved in that passing attack. But I like the Bills at home to move on to the AFC Championship game, and I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm not sold on Dak Prescott. I think he's a fluke. They played a terrible team last week in Tampa Bay that, again, a losing record, and they're in the postseason because they won the NFC South. If they were in any other division in football, they don't even make the postseason. So I like the 49ers here. I think they're very solid. They play well on both sides of the football. I think it's going to be the Giants and the 49ers in the NFC Championship game and the Bills and the Chiefs in Atlanta in the AFC Championship. All right, that's a check of college basketball and the divisional round for the NFL. We'll take our final break. When we return, it's the Border Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's as we continue here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Hello, I'm Michael Bowling, Senior Vice President of Kentucky Farmers Bank. When you do business with Kentucky Farmers Bank, you're making an investment in your community. Your money stays local, we never sell your loan, and in turn, we invest in local families, churches, schools, and charities. We believe in our community, and that's why we are the better bank for loans.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for loans since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
The new year is here, and Clark's Pumpkin Shops get it started off with great in-store specials for you. Assorted Hershey king-size candy bars, 2 for $5. Jack Link's beef and cheese meat snacks, 2 for $3. Blue Diamond almonds, 1.5 ounce size, 2 for $2. Snapple and Snapple Elements, 16-ounce bottles, 2 for $2. Plus quality Argo gasoline. Stop by a Clark's Pumpkin Shop near you. Clark's Pumpkin Shops return, refresh, refuel.
The weather is brought to you by Crazy Lady Cabins and Pizza, 250 4 Mile Road in Rush. Check them out online at crazyladycabins.com. That's crazy with a K. And like them on Facebook.
Cool Hits weather.
Look for partly cloudy skies today, a high of 44. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight and cold, low of 28. Look for freezing rain on Sunday morning, changing to rain in the afternoon. Precipitation will be light, high of 41. And Sunday night, a few showers early, changing to snow showers late, low of 32.
Cool Hits 105.7.
Back here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Collier, happy to have you along with us here this morning. It's time for the Border Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. Border Sporting Goods US 60 in Cannonsburgh for all your hunting and fishing needs, as well as the best deals on Liberty gun safes. See the good folks at Border Sporting Goods US 60 in Cannonsburgh. All fishing stuff is on sale. Brad Taylor and the gang, they've got 2 they'll sell you. 2 of everything. But everything's on sale. They still got some good sales going on Liberty gun safes. So, again, it's not too far to be thinking about fishing season. It's not as far away as it may think. You know, we're talking about freezing rain and snow tomorrow, but you know, I've got all of my rods and reels at the house getting ready to get things ready for the upcoming fishing season, which will get underway probably in March. So certainly looking forward to that, but go see the guys out there and the gals at Border Sporting Goods, and they'll get you taken care of. Well, of course, we all know my love for Walmart, and it's been well documented. And I feel far-fetched to say that it's hard for me to do this, but I've got to give a credit to a worker at Walmart. And again, as much as I rag on these people, when they do something right, it's like an anomaly, so I better take advantage of it and talk about it. So here was the situation, though. So my wife and I were doing a project, and we needed 16 of these picture frames. We got 7 of them at one location, 8 of them at another location, so we were 1 short. So my wife started calling around to the different stores within the tri-state area trying to find this one picture frame. So she contacted the one location, and they kept trying to transfer her to the electronics department. All they were hearing the words were pictures, not picture frame. So then the call would time out, and it would go back to the customer service desk. She ends up being transferred 4 separate times. Talks to a manager at one point who, by the way, instead of just walking over at this point to see if they can find the picture frame that she's looking for, transfers her. Guess where? Electronics department. She was in a cycle for over 30 minutes trying to talk to someone other than the person answering the phone at the customer service desk. She talked to someone who was over by the fitting rooms, that I guess that's where they answer the phones, and a manager. But nobody was able to go look and see if they had this picture frame or understand the fact that the picture frames are not in electronics. She doesn't want a picture. She wants something to put the picture in. So she gave up hope and finally decided, okay, the Kentucky locations don't have them. The Ohio locations don't have them. Let's see if we can find one in Huntington. So she contacts the Huntington location. She talks to the lady. The lady tells her, here's where we are. They literally just called every single worker off the floor to come up front. So I cannot leave my post. But I will go over there and look and see if I can find it, and I will call you back. Give me your phone number. So my wife half-heartedly said, okay, here's my phone number, whatever. if you call me, I'm probably going to be in a bad location. She was with me last night in Vanceburg. There's no cell service in Vanceburg. So just leave me a message, not thinking that there's going to be a phone call returns. So we get home last night. She gets her phone back in service, and boom, she has a voicemail. It's the lady from Walmart in Huntington. We were just contacting you back to let you know we do have the picture frame in stock that you were looking for, and if you need that, come on up and we'll get you taken care of. I was like, what? How does this happen? You never hear of anybody at Walmart following anything. For the love of God, you can't even get the people in the blue buggies out of the way so you can shop. And this lady physically took the time to do something that I would say would probably happen maybe 1 in 100 in today's society. To go over, check something at a later time, and take the opportunity to call this person back and say, yeah, hey, we do have this here, before you drive 45 minutes to come and get something that's not in the store. So, I appreciate when people go out of their way to do the little things. And that was not something that I expected to happen. I totally expected my wife to just have to drive up there today to see if it was there and not knowing whether or not it was going to be there. But when you have people that still show that there are some hope for society, it's a very welcoming feeling. So for me, and of course my love for Walmart, I will say to the lady in the Huntington location, thank you very much for doing something that was far-fetched out of the realm of what your job is. I don't know what her job was, but she was very helpful. And for saying that you're going to do something and following up and actually doing it. I think that's a great story and a great lesson for many people out there to take, and that is the Border Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That'll do it for us today. Our time has come to an end. Dwayne, I don't know. Did you mess anything up today? You played a good song at the beginning. It happens. Like a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. We'll see. Hey, don't forget, some weather moving in tonight, into the morning. If you do have to travel in the morning, be careful. Roads may be a little bit slushy and slick. It's not supposed to hang around and do anything crazy, but we could see some freezing rain, some slushy snow or something like that. So take your extra time in the morning if you're out and about. Coach Ian Dickey Tiller's up next. They've got the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Show. Big thanks to Paul Miller and Rachel Bush from Green Up Girls Basketball joining me here in studio this morning. Always a pleasure talking with them. For everyone here